So you're seeing that little check engine light again, and you've Googled it, and now you're lost in a forest of terms. O2 sensors, catalytic converters, emissions monitors, like you've stumbled into a secret language of car pain. Yep, catalytic converter sensor failure is way, way too common. Here's what's wild. The average catalytic converter sensor lasts somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 miles, which sounds decent until you realize that if you keep your car for more than 5 years, odds are you'll be spending a Saturday on this. The pain point hits when the car starts guzzling gas, your acceleration gets sluggish, or you suddenly fail an emissions test, which is actually the city's way of giving you homework. Most folks assume it's the converter itself, but a sensor can totally impersonate a $1,000 problem. The first thing you need is a basic OBD-II scanner. You can pick up a cheap one for $20 online, or if you want to flex, some auto parts stores will read your codes for free. Plug it in under your dashboard, start the car, and watch the codes roll in. If you get codes like P0136 or P0420 and your wallet physically recoils, don't panic. Those usually mean your O2 sensor or catalytic converter sensor is toast, but it's way more likely the sensor is bad, not the converter itself. So let's save that $800 cash for literally anything else. Finding the sensor is slightly less stressful than finding Waldo. Most have two sensors, one before the converter, upstream, one after, downstream. Google your car's make and model and look for diagrams. It's often just a matter of crawling under your car with a flashlight or a phone and spotting the wire sticking out. Basic tools? You'll need an O2 sensor socket, a ratchet, and some WD-40 if your car's seen more winters than Game of Thrones. If you don't have the sensor socket, a regular wrench sometimes works, but be ready for several minutes of cursing if it doesn't. Let the car cool down before you start. I made the mistake of grabbing a hot exhaust once. Never again. Once you find the sensor, unplug the wire, spray the base with WD-40, and unscrew. Sometimes these are fused tighter than a Portland cyclist's bike lock, but patience and leverage win. Pro tip, always match the new sensor exactly. If you buy the wrong part, you'll be right back where you started, but angrier. Also, smear a little anti-seize compound on the threads of the new sensor. It's like Teflon for future you. Screw in the sensor by hand first to avoid cross-threading, then tighten until snug. Don't hulk out and overdo it. Plug the sensor wire back in, double-check everything, and bask in a job probably well done for under $80 parts and an hour's work. Clear the code with your OBD-II scanner or just disconnect the battery for a bit. If the light stays off after a short drive, you've likely nailed it. If not, well, sometimes cars are like moody teenagers and want extra attention. What's most underrated? Sensors aren't just about keeping your car quiet at emissions. A busted one tanks your fuel economy by up to 15%. If you skip this repair, you're literally burning cash at every fill-up, which adds up quicker than you think. You save a ton. Dealer prices go north of $250 for labor alone, and you get that satisfying feeling of fixing it yourself, which in my book is somewhere between getting a compliment from a stranger and finding an extra donut in the box.